Hey guys, Mika here, and I'm always really excited to have the opportunity to hold a vintage Martin. This is a 2M model from the 1950s, known as the vintage era of the Martin ukulele, starting 1917 or more like the 1920s, all the way up until about the 1960s. So holding a 1950s model. From my knowledge of Martins, the two more common wood combinations they use. This is one of them. This is like the stained mahogany. Usually mahogany has more of a brighter kind of tone color scheme to it, but this is Martin was known for staining their mahogany wood. So it's funny because when I see this, I automatically think it's mahogany just because that's how synonymous this color and this tone wood is with the old Martin ukuleles, and then of course the koa wood combination as well with Martin. So being able to play either the mahogany or the koa, I have a lot more experience playing the old mahoganies or the vintage mahogany models over the koa ones. Koa ones I feel like are a little more rare than the mahogany ones and a little more valuable. But this is again, I'm always so lucky to be able to play the old Martins because they're just to be in the situation where I'm able to hold one in the room and be able to play it and talk about it and share it with you folks. Playing an old vintage Martin is just like playing like a piece of like Hawaiian music. A lot of us try to search for that Hawaiian sound or like a vintage kind of sounding instrument. And Kamaka does come to mind, the older vintage sound, but another synonymous name is the vintage Martins from that era because it was very popular here. Martin ukuleles are very popular here in Hawaii in the olden days, as well as the old Kamaka ukuleles. But especially like people like Herbalta Senior. If you haven't heard of him, please look him up. But he's a legend here in Hawaii. Maybe you heard of his son Herbalta Junior, who does a lot of traveling and is one of the monster ukulele players in this world. But he went ahead and played a soprano-sized Martin, vintage Martin ukulele, and did so many recordings, so many albums and records using this instrument. So a lot of us ukulele players are actually familiar with listening to or hearing this kind of sound just because we listened to all of those records or albums growing up. Even at my younger age, it still made its way to my generation as well. But so it just feels very for me nostalgic to be able to play like this, like an older Martin sound. Now, like what you get with a soprano-sized ukulele, you're gonna get that very childlike, very happy, bright, cheery kind of sound, and it's no different from Martin. But to me, what sets Martin apart is that you get this mahogany wood, and just with how Martin constructed and built their ukuleles tonally back then, you also get a really nice warm sound and an unusually warmer type of sound that you would get from a soprano, which you usually wouldn't get. You usually get like a teeny kind of like more just very bright, no warmth, no kind of depth, just because of the size of the body. But this still has a nice sweet tone to it. Of course, still very bright and cheery and happy like a soprano, but there's just this like added layer of warmth that especially Martin figured out and knew how to do extremely well back then with being able to get that tonal quality. And I'm sure the mahogany helps a lot too, but just to me, it has such a nice nostalgic tone. Whether you're strumming or if you're doing it has just such a nostalgic old kind of sound to it. So yeah, I love it. And it just feels so good too. I love the playability of like the old vintage Martins. It's the fret spacing, the way the fret wires they use, the fretboard itself, the width of it, how skinny the neck is. Everything just feels so natural. It just works the way they built their instruments. So absolutely love when I have the opportunity to play Martin and also to be able to share it with you folks, my reactions, my thoughts, and be able to play sound sample for you folks. So here we go.